Hi everyone, and thank you so much for watching my channel, The Witty Turtle. In today's video, we are going to study payments made otherwise than by account pay check or account pay bank draft, which is laid down in section 40A, subsection 3 and section 40A, subsection 3A, right? So first, we are coming to section 40A, subsection 3. This particular subsection says that where the SSE incurs any expenditure by way of any purchasing or anything, if any expenditure is made by the SSE in respect of which one payment or an aggregate of payments has been made to a single person in a single day, and it is worth rupees more than 10,000, right? It is more than rupees 10,000, and the payment has been made otherwise than by an account pay check or a bank draft or any use of electronic clearing system or through any such electronic mode which has been prescribed, then in that case what happens, no deduction shall be allowed in respect of such expenditure, right? Okay, so how many conditions are covered here? The first is that one single payment or an aggregate of a number of payments has been made in a single day to a single person, and it is made and the amount is more than 10,000. It is more than 10,000. And lastly, the payment has been made in any other mode otherwise than account pay check or account pay bank draft or electronic clearing system or any such online mode which has been prescribed, right? If these five conditions are satisfied, then no deduction shall be allowed in respect of such an expenditure, right? For example, one person is paying rupees 15,000, 15,000, right? 15,000, 15,000 to another vendor in a single day, and he made the payment in cash basis, in cash. Okay, he gave hard cash to the vendor, right? So in that case, as he is paying 15,000 in a single day to a single person in hard cash, then what happens, the entire 15,000 will be disallowed, right? The entire 15,000 will be disallowed, right? Now here you might be thinking, what are the other modes prescribed? So the other modes are like NEFT, RTGS, net banking, debit card or credit card, your Bheem UPI and QR code, and apart from that IMPS is also included in the list, right? Now, coming to the, I hope this is clear because this particular provision we have been studying since very long, since the beginning of this chapter, right? Now, coming to the next part of the section, that is section 40A, subsection 3A, which says that this is a case where the allowance has already been made in a previous year, in a past assessment year, right? In a past assessment year, the allowance has already been made, which satisfies all the above conditions, right? The allowance has been made in the books of accounts, but the real payment has not yet been made, right? The real payment is yet to be made, right? Abhi tak hua nahi hai, you are going to make the payment. So in that case what happens, if such payment is made in cash or in any other mode other than all these account pay check or account pay draft or your electronic clearing system or any online mode prescribed, so in that case what happens, whatever deduction was earlier claimed, whatever allowance was earlier claimed in any other previous year, that amount will be considered as your PGBP income in this particular year, in this particular previous year in which such payment is being made, right? For example, look at this particular example. In this example what happens, Priya has made a purchase of rupees 5 lakhs which was made in the year 2019, right? So accounting entry for that was already made, right? Purchase account debited to Priya account 5 lakh rupees, that accounting entry in the books of account has already been done, right? But the cash payment was the real cash payment was made to Priya in the previous year 2021-22, in the previous year 2021-22. So in that case what happens, in such a case, as cash payment has been made, so such amount of expenditure shall be deemed to be the PGBP income in subsequent year, that is your in the year in which the cash payment was made to Priya. Now, try to understand the reason behind this. The reason is that because in the previous year, you already made an accounting entry for that, right? And you also claimed a deduction for that, right? You claimed deduction for that. But as we know that it is not allowed in the law, right? It is not allowed in the law. So, as in the current year, as you are breaking the law by paying in cash, so what happens? Whatever allowance was made to you in the past year, that will be cancelled out, and that will be cancelled out, and what? And that particular amount which was allowed in the past year, that will be that will also be considered as your PGBP income in current year, right? In current financial year or current previous year. So now if you go and read the legal language, whatever is written in the book, then you can easily understand that, right? Now, coming to a very small thing here. Here another provision is made that in case of payment made for plying, hiring, or leasing good carriages, the amount of 10,000 shall be replaced by 35,000, right? 35,000. So in case where plying, hiring, and leasing of goods or carriages are being made, in that case 10,000 shall be replaced with the number 35,000, right? So the limit will be 30. If you are paying 35,000 or more in cash, then for those hiring, leasing, and plying of goods carriage business shall be not allowed, right? Now you might get confused, so try to remember it in this way that, for example, one truck driver is there, right? So the truck driver has to fill petrol in the truck for transportation, right? For that they need hard cash, right? They need hard cash. So for that reason only, hard cash is paid to the goods carriages businesses, right? So that they can do all these petty transactions. Understood? Now, the word is that it is for all the transporters, right? These business of applying, hiring, leasing goods carriages is known as transporter. If you see the word transporter in the question, then you can apply 35,000 of limit instead of 10,000, right? I hope this is clear. Now, in this section, there are certain exceptions in which the payment in a sum exceeding 10,000 may be made in cash, right? In these cases, in the following cases, which we are going to study now, which is your Rule 6DD, what happens in this case? If you are paying, if you're making a cash payment of more than 10,000, then it is allowed. Okay, so let's go ahead and read. The first point says that when any payment is made to RBI or SBI or any of its subsidiary, that is a State Bank of India or any of its subsidiary banks. Next is any cooperative bank or any land mortgage bank. Any cooperative bank or any land mortgage bank. And the next is what? The next is if any payment is made to LIC, Life Insurance Corporation of India. If any payment is made to LIC in cash, then again that may be allowed. Okay. And lastly, it says any primary agricultural credit society or any primary credit society. Simply you just need to remember if it is being made to any RBI or any banks or any or to LIC, then in that case hard cash of more than 10,000 is allowed. The next point says that when the payment is made to the government under the rules framed by it, then such payment is required to be made in legal tender. So it says that if you are making any payment to the government, central government or state government, so in that case, if it is written in the rule that you have to pay in cash, so in that case, if it is written in the rule of the tender which is being passed, it is written that you have to make the payment in cash only. So in that case, if even if you are making a payment of more than 10,000 in cash, still it will be allowed, right? The next point says that where the payment is made by any letter of credit arrangement through a bank, letter of credit, you know, right? Next is mail or telegraphic transfer through a bank. Lastly, book adjustment from any bank to another account in that particular bank or any bank. So it basically says that if you're making any book adjustment from one bank account to another bank account, so in that case also more than 10,000 is allowed. And lastly, if any bill of exchange is made payable to one bank, so in that case also it is allowed. So what was the first point? The first point was if the payment is made to RBI or any bank or any LIC. The second point says that if you are making any payment to the government by where the rule of the tender has written that you have to pay in cash, then it is allowed. The next point says that where the payment is made by letter of credit or bill of exchange is made to the bank, or any kind of mail or telegraphic transfer is done through the bank, or any book adjustment is done from one account to another account, then also more than 10,000 rupees of payment is allowed. Now, the next point says that where the payment is made by way of adjustment against the amount of any liability incurred by the payee for any goods supplied or services rendered by the SSC to such payee. So this sounds very complicated, but it is very easy. It says that if this is the SSC and this is the payee, for example, right? And the payee has to pay 60,000 to the SSC, and the SSC has to make a payment of 50,000 to this payee, right? So in that case, 60,000, 50,000, right? So if they are making any kind of adjustment between them, then in that case the payment of more than 10,000 in cash is allowed, right? So what happens here? Here a difference of 10,000 is made, right? Is being created. So in this case also more than 10,000 ka payment is allowed. The next point is very interesting. It says that where the payment is made for the purchase of agricultural or forest produce, fish or fish produce, then the produce of animal husbandry, including livestock, meat, hides, skins, or dairy or poultry farming, and lastly, the products of horticulture or apiculture, right? So, four points are there where the payment is made for the purchase. If you are purchasing all these four things from the cultivator or the grower or the producer of such article or products, right? If you are going and purchasing these things from DMAT or GeoMart, then it is not allowed. If you are going and directly buying all these producers from the grower or from the cultivator directly, in that case only a payment of more than 10,000 will be allowed. Payment of more than 10,000 in cash will be allowed. So what are these things? The first is agricultural or forest produce. The second is the produce of animal husbandry, including livestock, hides and meat and skin, and also dairy and poultry farming. Now the next is fish and fish produces, and lastly the products of horticulture and apiculture, right? So in this case, what happens? If purchased from cultivator, grower or producer, then a payment of more than 10,000 in cash will be allowed. The next point is that where the payment is made for the purchase of the products manufactured or processed without the aid of power in cottage industry. So we know cottage industries, right? Where the things are made without the use of electricity or power. So in that case, if you are making a payment of more than 10,000 in cash to the producer of such products, cottage industry, no usage of power, and you're making the payment to the producer of such products, then only this particular 10,000 or more expenditure payment is allowed in this case, right? Now, the next point is very interesting. It says that if you are making any payment to a person who is residing in a village or town where no such bank is available on the date of payment, right? So, in that case, also more than 10,000 of payment is allowed. So this particular section was made very earlier. Uh, we know that Income Tax Act came in 1961, right? So during that time, there were still some towns or some villages in India where no physical bank was situated, and online was not an option at that time, right? So this particular provision is applicable to that particular era where no bank was there on the date of payment in any town. So if you are giving a payment to a person who is residing in that village or town. So in that case, more than 10,000 of payment is allowed. Now, the next point says that if you are making any payment to an employee or to the heirs of the employee, heirs matlab their legal heirs, right? If their children or their wife or any of their relative who are uh, known as their legal heirs. So if you are making any payment in connection with the retirement benefit or retrenchment or resignation or discharge or death of such employee, then in account of gratuity also, gratuity, retrenchment, and retirement, retrenchment, gratuity, resignation, discharge, or death. In such cases, if you are making a payment of more than 50,000, more than 50,000, then in that case what happens again, the again in this case, the if the payment is made in cash, then it is allowed, right? Again, this provision was made in 1961, where online mode of payment was not there, not an option. So this particular clause is applicable to that time only. Nowadays, everybody is paying in online mode only. The next point says that salary after deducting TDS under section 192 can be paid in cash worth rupees more than 10,000 only if these two conditions are satisfied. The first condition is that if that employee is posted for a continuous period of more than 15 days or more, to such a place where he normally does not reside, right? To such a place where he generally does not reside, or he has been temporarily posted to a ship. If he is staying in a ship for 15 days or more, so in that case, more than 10,000 payment will be made. And the second condition is that, and that particular person does not maintain any account in the bank of that particular ship or that particular place where he is temporarily being posted. So in that case, paying in hard cash of more than 10,000 will be allowed. So, what are the two conditions? The first condition is that the employee is temporarily posted for a continuous period of 15 days or more in a place other than his normal residency, other than his normal residency or normal place of duty, or he has been posted to a ship. And secondly, that person does not maintain any bank account in that newly posted place or in that ship. So, in that case, also, what happens? In that case, also, payment of more than 10,000 can be made. The next point says that if the consigner makes any payment to the consignee of more than 10,000 rupees in a single day, so that is again allowed. Why? Because this particular payment is made in cash for goods and services on behalf of such persons, right? So we know that generally the agent or the consignee uh, को कैश में क्यों पे किया जाता है, सो दैट दे कैन गेट द गुड्स as soon as possible, right? So because their job is to get the goods, so it is convenient when you're paying in cash, right? So for that reason only this particular provision has been made, that the consigner or the principal can make the payment to his consignee or to his agent of more than 10,000 rupees in a single day, and it will be allowed, right? He can make a payment of more than 10,000 in a single day, and that will be allowed, right? The last point says that where the payment is made by an authorized dealer or a money changer against purchase of foreign currency or traveler's check in the normal course of his business. So it says that the payment is made by an authorized dealer or a money changer, right? Against what you're exchanging foreign currency or traveler's check in the normal course of his business. We know that money changers normal course of business is exchanging money, right? Earlier this particular provision was more relevant because foreign exchange things were not very prominent during those days, right? So here again it is said that if you are purchasing any foreign currency or traveler's check from any money changer and you are paying them more than 10,000 in a single day, then again that is allowed. That particular expenditure will be allowed under your section 40A subsection 3, right? I hope this particular section is clear to you. And yes, we need to always remember that when it comes to a transporter, in that case, this limit of 10,000 will be extended by 35,000, right? In a single day to a single person via cash. And the limit is if you're paying more than 35,000 to the transporter, right? I hope this is clear. If you find this video helpful, then please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, The Witty Turtle, and I really hope that you are enjoying this PGBP series. Very soon we are going to end it, and yes, uh, don't forget to share this video with your CA and CMA intern and final friends.